Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I am utterly elated about today's show. We are going to be covering a super interesting topic that I've been curious about for a really, really long time. And here with me today to chat about this topic is Tim Butterworth, who is the director of the Ontario Paranormal Society. Welcome, Tim.
Hi, how are you guys doing? Thanks for bringing me on here.
Oh
This
my
is
God,
awesome.
it's my pleasure. Tim, I did a quick Google search on the word paranormal and it generated millions and millions and millions of pages. And it seems to me that recently there's been like an even bigger surge in paranormal like type shows, like your
Mhm.
Ghost Hunters, the Haunting of Hill House, and all these types of shows. So it's clearly a topic that's really interesting people like in this point in time. But
Mhm.
when I was doing a little bit of research for this, as humans, I think we've always been interested in ghosts and spirits and
Oh yeah.
UFOs and all those things. And spiritualism first appeared in the 1840s. And
Yep.
as we know, the Victorians loved a good seance and always, I always think about the movie The Others, which was actually set in the 1940s with that elderly lady in the film, which if someone didn't watch the film, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's that elderly lady with the white eyes, like
Yep.
calling the spirits. And then we also had things like the Ouija board that's been around since the 1890s as well, and has had several comebacks throughout the years. So I guess to get right into it, my first question for you would be, how do you even get into this line of work? And how long have you been doing it for?
Well, to get in this line of work is just basically is you got to have the passion. It's not just the passion of getting out there wanting to know what it is. It's the passion for what we do is helping people on out in their homes, trying to help them understand what could be going on. What other see everything goes bump in the night is not going to be paranormal, and everybody instantly jumps right to that. So that's where we want to come in, and we want to either debunk. That's 90% of what we try and do is debunk of what's going on. So it's whenever people um, they get scared, they want answers and they want them right away. Myself, I've been in this for, wow, I want to say 13 years. I've been doing 13, almost 14 years. I've been actively as an investigator. Um, but my whole life, I have had experiences.
Yeah.
The earliest one that I can remember, I think I was about 5 years old,
Wow.
in my parents' house. And it's always just been something that's always been there. I've always had I don't want to say ability. I've always had the knowledge of being able to hear, speak with them, see them, everything like that. I've always had those experiences. I've been scared out of my mind
Yeah.
by them as a kid. And that's one of the biggest things. What we want to do is we want to get into houses where, families, parents are having problems with their little ones, saying that there's bad monsters under the bed, or, they're seeing things in there. We want to try and get in there as fast as possible to help that child on out. Been there, done that, know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So that's basically why I started into this,
Yeah.
and actually investigating and helping out.
Yeah. I was reading on your website that the Society's long-term objective is to document irrefutable proof of the paranormal. And you achieve this by utilizing teamwork and individual skills and professional equipment. How did the society, pardon me, actually come to be? And how big is your team?
Well, when I actually first started, there was another gentleman that was the director of the team, and then he had to step down due to personal reasons.
Yeah.
So I just took it on over, and I just kept on going with it. So when we try to question again, I
Yeah.
kind of what was
That's
that question
okay.
again?
That's sort of okay. No, how did the society come to be, and how big is your team?
Okay, yeah, they're right. The society just came to be because again, we wanted to be helping people, and when we're putting together the team, we're always looking for people that have the um not the knowledge but the drive to
Gotcha.
find out more, not just for themselves but to be able to help out other
like, and the
people.
curiosity, right? Like the
And-
curiosity and wanting
and
to go.
and that's it exactly. We get a lot of people that just they want to become because they watched a couple of episodes of Ghost Hunter, so they think they instantly think, hey,
No.
I can do that. I'm a paranormal investigator now. Hey, yeah. It's not like that. It isn't. It's totally different. The aspects are the same, the ideas are the same, but to actually get out there and
and be there,
it's totally different. Totally
of course.
different.
And what would you say are like some skills that your team members bring to the table? Like, what would you say if someone wants to join? Because you were just mentioning, like, you can't just watch a show and think you're going to show up and all of a sudden you're going to be like doing all of it. So what would you say are some of the skills?
Some of the skills is just being, number one, you got to be open-minded. You have to be, because you can't go in there and instantly have the instant decision that, yep, this place is haunted. You can't. There's just no way that you can walk on into a place and say, yep, there's a haunting here. You have to actually investigate. That person, when I look for people, they have to have the passion. They have to have the dedication. That's one of the big things right there, is being able to be dedicated to doing this. But it's also, they have to have the experiences. No, I'm going to kind of backtrack that a bit. I like having people on the team that actually are skeptical.
Well, you say that on your website. You actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that you need to have a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly. You have to, because again, if I get somebody that just, instantly wants to think everything is paranormal,
that doesn't
everything
work.
it's not going to work. I can't take that person on into a client's home and have them instantly start walking around and going, oh, something just came through the door. Oh, something's walking over there. There's 20 spirits in this house. Yeah, okay, no, thank you very much. But it's more the fact of just, if I find that they have the passion and the intrigue, but also, like you're saying, that little bit of skepticism in there too. That is what I'm looking for. That is who I want on my team.
Gotcha.
So on the team, I have 9 people on my team right now. And we all come from different backgrounds. We're not all like, we all have full-time jobs where we don't get paid to do this. It's all volunteer of what we do. This is more of a passionate hobby. Of what we do, but it's also wanting to learn more about paranormal, wanting to learn more about what could be and what could not be. With that. So that's basically what I'm looking for.
Awesome. I know that you've investigated a lot of older properties, like the Brant Historical Society, the Lucan Area Heritage and Donnelly Museum, the Old Angel Inn in Niagara on the Lake. When I take a look at a city, I'm in Toronto, so I'm going to talk about Toronto, but when I look at a city like Toronto, it's only like 229 years old, which is not a lot compared to like other cities around the world, or even a place like Montreal, which is like 379 years old. Does that make a difference in terms of hauntings? Are there a lot of hauntings that happen in your, and by the way, correct me if I use vocabulary that isn't correct, because I'm saying hauntings and you're like, no, that's not what we call it. But is there a lot of hauntings or paranormal things that happen in your builds, like condos, like these condos that go up? Is that something that's common, or are we really looking at places with a little bit more history, or really it all just depends?
It all depends. I've known us to go on into like literally, I've known us to go into 150-year-old homes and not have anything, be completely silent. And I've known us to go into homes that are only 5 years old and be completely hopping with things going on. It all depends. It all depends. Truthfully, I'm going to say is attitude and respect that people have for their property, for their surroundings. It's these new houses. They could be haunted. They could be bringing in a something antique. They could be bringing in. They could be actually themselves. We have done quite a few cases where people themselves have actually manifested their own paranormal within their own
Interesting.
house, within their own homes.
Interesting.
So, and there's some of them that are just pure land based.
Yeah.
From that, again, we've done cases where it has nothing to do with the occupants. It has nothing to do with any of the objects that are within the home. It's purely land based.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
that. So when you say, like, you know, just because something has age, something has history,
Yeah.
it's not going to be haunted. It's not going to be active. It's just could not be nothing there.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that hauntings don't discriminate. They go all over the place. It doesn't really matter.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
They don't care who you are. They don't care what you are. They don't care anything. They
Yeah.
will still happen.
Yeah.
We always say, like, there's the different kinds of hauntings. You have yourself a residual haunting. You have yourself an intelligent haunting. Intelligent is instantly, because is something that communicates with you, is actually acknowledging you be there. A residual one is something that plays over no matter what is going on.
Okay.
Same time of day, same location, same anything. And it'll play no matter what, if you're there or not to witness it. It's still going to happen.
You know, it's funny you say that, because, and I'm going a little bit off here, but I've lived in a lot of old homes. And when I lived in Montreal in college, I lived with 2 roommates in this really old home who used to be, that home was a dentist's office, like in the 40s or something, back when dentistry was like super weird. And then also there was a cop at a later point that lived in the home who was shot in the entrance. Okay. And I kid you not, we would often hear at a specific time at night, a boom right in the entrance, right in front of my bedroom door. And we always said, you know what? It has to be this poor soul stuck in a repeat of whatever it was that happened that day, because we would hear that boom, and that house had that's a whole other topic we could get to at another day, but that house had a whole bunch of things. So that would be a residual situation, that it would happen sort of constantly, because he's just, again, maybe, I don't know, stuck in that loop, or I don't know what, but that's super, super interesting.
It got imprinted in time.
Yes, correct.
As what we say, it just purely got imprinted in time, you know. And everybody's been saying, it's like, you know, when the pandemic first started and people are being locked up in homes, like, you know, because of everything, and we're starting to get phone calls and emails, and everybody's just going, what is going on? What is going on? And it's just like, you got to remember something. You were never home.
You were never home.
Now you're home. So now you are witnessing it. And now you're actually seeing this. So, and it was quite funny and quite interesting, hearing a lot of people just going, I don't believe this. So it was pretty good.
That's super interesting. I know that in past times, we talk about Victorian times at the beginning, you know, how seances or investigations seem to be and maybe I'm wrong, they seem to be a lot more common than today. Again, I feel like there was a craze, but maybe I'm mistaken. And I know that a lot of people were taken advantage of by, like, charlatans. Houdini actually spent a lot of his time trying to debunk spiritualism and mediums. How do you feel about that? Like, I think I know your answer, but have you seen enough proof throughout the years to know that spirits are real and are amongst us? Or are you like, you know, I do this, but you said it at the beginning, you have seen enough or lived enough to know that this isn't just a craze, or it's not all charlatanism, you know? No,
see, that's it. I like I said, I've been touched, I've been pushed, I've been kicked, I've been bitten. So, and I've been yelled at in my ears, from tons. So myself, again, because of my experiences, from that. But you're saying charlatans and stuff like that. You're right. It's hard to really determine if somebody's an actual medium or not, on to tell you if they're a charlatan or not, on to if they're just pulling your leg. It's hard to tell because they're so well versed in it. So it's really the best
And they
thing.
know what questions to ask and how to ask them to be able to get the information that they need.
And that's it exactly. Somebody that doesn't, to me, I've always had an offstandish thing with mediums. I myself need to know if they are digging for information themselves, or if they're actually walking into a place or something like that and instantly just going bang. I know exactly what's going in, and picking those things that just they don't know about. When they can start doing that in front of me,
then
there's a lot of times that we've gone in and we've had a couple of mediums come with us, and I've held back. I'll give them a bunch of information to see where it goes, but I'll always hold back a little bit to see if they start picking on them.
Yeah.
Once they start picking on them, I've met quite a few of them, and they've hit bang right on those things that I never divulged.
Yeah.
And those are ones that I can trust.
Yeah.
Those are ones that I can depend on.
Yeah.
That won't steer us wrong.
Yeah.
Won't steer us wrong. Won't steer us wrong. Won't steer my client wrong. You know, anybody that we go on into help, we call them, they're our clients. That's what they are.
They are. Yeah.
So it's like you were saying, they were doing seances and that. We actually usually every Halloween, the past 2 Halloweens, we've been doing a fundraiser with the Homer Watson House in Kitchener.
Yeah.
The Homer Watson Museum, the art gallery there. And we've done it on Halloween, and Homer Watson was big time into doing seances.
Yeah.
After his wife, Roxa, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, Roxa. After she passed away, he wanted to keep contacting her, and he got heavily into doing seances, and he actually did it in the house. And we tried doing the contacts. We were getting some stuff off of it from doing that. And and one of our very first prime ministers, I want to say Lyme McKenzie.
Yeah. Was into seances as well.
Actually go down to Homer Watson there in Kitchener. And they would actually do it right there, right in the house for that. And there's this thing called scribing. Yeah. And what would happen is somebody would sit off to the side and literally write down all the conversations, all the questions, all the answers that were coming across.
Yeah, like taking minutes in a meeting, like just writing everything down.
That's it exactly. And they literally still have those sheets that they used. They still have those sheets and those placards of what they wrote on. They still have those there. So the seances have been going absolutely crazy, just not a lot of it anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. And before we get into like what an investigation consists of, what are some of the misconceptions you think people have about what paranormal investigating is? Like are there things that you hear and you're like, no, that's not what we do. We don't do that. Like what are some of the most common misconceptions that people have?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. People still think we walk in with backpacks on our backs, and we have little laser things that we can shoot out.
Stop.
Oh, I'm not kidding.
Stop.
I'm not kidding. Way. People they have. I'm not lying. They have.
Well, it's funny because later we're going to talk about ectoplasm, because I did see that word on your website and I said that is incorrect because only I'm an 80s baby. So I'm like, that's something only the Ghostbusters talk about. Well, we'll talk about that later. But
okay.
Yeah, like what? So people think that you are like the Ghostbusters, which is, I don't even know how people would think that that's what it would be. But yes. And then what else would you say are some of the misconceptions?
A lot of people, you're going to go, and they literally label it ghost hunting. Oh, you're going to go hunt ghosts. You're going to go do this. No, we're paranormal investigators. We don't deliberately go out hunting ghosts. it's easy to turn and it's just easier to label it that way. But it's more of just a lot of people think that we just go in there and just start yammering, start yelling and screaming and, show yourself
Oh,
and stuff
yes.
like
Okay.
that. And no, we don't.
No.
Like, granted, we have done it a few times because if we get into something aggressive, yes,
Yeah.
we will. But a good deal, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, we're going in there just relaxing and just, as I always say to people, 90% of what we actually do is sitting in the dark talking to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then something might
and
pick
then
up.
something might happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people just think that's all that we do is just go in, sit down, yell, scream, and demand and stuff like that. So and it's not true.
No.
It's just not true what we do.
No.
for that.
Okay. So walk me through, and I have some, I took some notes here, but walk me through a phone call or email request for an investigation. I know that there's a questionnaire that you want people to fill out, and there was some questions that I expected because I went through the questionnaire. So
Good.
there were some questions that I expected, like, when was the building originally constructed? I'm like, okay, yeah. But then there were some questions where I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, what material is the foundation construction of? And I'm curious about that. Or like, is there a lake, pond, or natural water source? And right away I was thinking, are they wondering if someone drowned? Or like, this one was interesting. Please describe any renovations that have been done and when they were done. And did the renovations trigger or increase the paranormal activity? And I was thinking, oh shit, it's because they move things around and things were sleeping and now things are
Things
coming
are
back.
woken up.
Things are woken up. And then of course, then there was the question, have you seen objects moving with your own eyes? Which
Yeah.
I'm sure that's probably an interesting one. But so let's go through it. So someone thinks that something's happening. So what would be the next steps before you make it into someone's home? How do you, because I'm guessing there's some kind of triage, like at the hospital, where you're like, you know what, it's not even worth our time at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. Usually sometimes people call me, asking questions. They have this going on. I listen to them to what's going on, and I try and give them a little bit of direction in what to handle it. But I always direct them back to go back onto the website, fill out the questionnaire. This way, what we've done now is we have literally started a paper trail of what's going on within the house, what's actually happening, and it's all literally documented now at this point in time. So we're keeping track of what's happening. So when they go on, they fill out all these questions, and yet some of them sound silly, but it actually helps us on out with all that. And then what happens is my co-director Jen will get a hold of she'll get the questionnaire, she'll go through it, and then she'll pass it off to one of my case managers. And then what they will, like, my case managers will actually do is contact the client and actually put them through like a telephone interview.
Gotcha.
What else is happening? They'll go a little bit more deeper into different questions and things like that. Now that's when they'll start asking who's witnessed, who's done this, and who's done this. And then they'll start digging in just that little bit more. The more that we know going into an investigation, the better it is for us to be able to analyze, for us to properly look into certain areas or where to concentrate our time into in the house. Usually after that's happened, my case manager's gotten a hold of it. They'll put it forth to us, like myself and back to Jen, and then he'll say, he will go on his recommendation. It's either going to be Grant or Melissa, who are on my team, my case managers, and they will recommend as to how we progress with it. If they turn and they say, yeah, this one here sounds pretty active, let's get in there pretty quick. All right, set up a date for us to get into the house now and actually step foot into the house to actually put our eyeballs on the situation, on what we're walking into. With that, then that's when we actually go face to face with the client.
Okay. And then how many calls would you say are legit calls? Like, out of all of the calls that you get, once you go through that whole process, how many are you like, oh, these are not pranksters, but people that are just they're not real. Like,
They're-
is that a bulk of it or not really?
Oh no, I'm gonna truthfully, it's a good 20 calls, maybe one of them will actually be legit.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. I get tons of calls of people just, they're just off the wall. They just simply and I feel sorry, like I feel bad for saying it like that, but
No, but it's true.
and it is, and I've had some of them where they'll turn and say, I'm hearing all this, I'm hearing all banging and it's all in my head, and it's like, unfortunately we can't deal with a person themselves.
No,
On
of course.
and then
And you have to be safe as well, because you're going to be going
Exactly.
into people's homes. So you have to make sure you're not putting your team and yourself in danger when you're going into these people's homes as well. So
exactly. And then and again, that's where we like doing the walkthrough,
of
as
course.
we call it. That's why we set that on up. So either myself and another investigator, or a couple of my other investigators will go on into the house,
Gotcha.
to again take a look at the situation, see what we have, and take it from that.
Mhm.
And see again, if it's safe, how many rooms there are, where everything is, how big is the place, to know how many people I should be sending on in. You don't want to be sending 5-7 people into a little bachelor apartment.
No,
It just
of course
won't work.
No.
So that's basically what it is. But we get a good 20, I want to say, like I said, 20 calls, maybe one of them will be actually legit.
Next time on the Gabot Show. I think I know your answer, but have you seen enough proof throughout the years to know that spirits are real and are amongst us? Or are you like, I do this, but you said it at the beginning. You have seen enough or lived enough to know that if this isn't just a craze, or it's not all charlatanism,
No, see, that's it. Like I said, I've been touched, I've been pushed, I've been kicked, I've been bitten. So and I've been yelled at in my ears from tons. So myself, again, because of my experiences from that. But you're saying charlatans and stuff like